Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be the Percy Jackson X Listener video. So about the fan fiction, I'm sorry, when I went back to read the fan fiction, it didn't really make any sense because now that I've read like literally the entire Percy Jackson series, and I've read Lost Hero, and I'm in the middle of Son of Neptune. It just didn't really make sense because in the fan fiction, I only read like half of Lightning and the Lightning Thief, and it was like, oh yeah, you walk into camp Half-Blood. Chiron asks you who your apparently god is. That still wouldn't make any sense. So I decided to I'm making it, but it's gonna be based off of the fanfic, and if you know what I mean. Like, I know it from like start to finish. I know the basic idea of it, so it's gonna be essentially that. Speaking of that, there will be some trigger warnings. I don't want to drag that with it. Give me a second. Some of the trigger warnings do include, like suicide attempts, mentions of self-harming, and such. I have some written down here. Excuse me. I have a whole book for ideas and thoughts and everything. So yeah. So basically, their trigger warnings are going to include suicide, thoughts of suicide, suicide attempt, mentions of self-harm, mentions of self-harming, and I think that's it for now. So I'll just put like the warnings before every video, so you guys are like well aware and everything. So it's gonna be like some stuff going through, leading to book 1. So yeah. This is going to also be a Soulmate AU, which will be explained throughout the video, so yeah. Okay. I keep saying yeah. Okay, let's just start this video, so. Basically, you had barely made it into, class that day. You were late, and the teacher didn't look very pleased. You sat down at your table where you resided for the class. You started pulling things out and paying attention to the teacher. It was often kind of hard for you to pay attention though, because of your ADHD and dyslexia. You pulled out some things that you thought you would need for the class with a yawn. For some reason, you were always tired every hour. You would end up falling asleep in your class often, which would usually result in the teachers constantly waking you up and you constantly being in detention. You would sleep through the detention though, not like it really mattered. You see, you were an orphan. Your mother had surprisingly changed just one day. It was like she snapped in a way. She started calling you hurtful names, and she started saying mean things about you. You were slightly overweight, but not to the point where you were obese, as she would say. Chubby. A little bit chubby. You found yourself slowly starting to fall asleep again. The teacher snapped his hand and you instantly woke up. You let out a long, annoyed sigh. Why were you like this? What possibly could have happened on this god-green earth for you to turn out this way? You're always tired, you're always sleepy, yet you can never sleep. When you did fall asleep, it was usually during the day, and you would instantly get woken up after. The class dragged on until it was time for gym. You walked into the gym room, into the locker room, where a bunch of girls who usually made fun of you were in there. You had a different look. Your hair was your hair color, but it also had your favorite color tips at the ends. It was odd because you never dyed your hair. It was like you had it your entire life. They usually made fun of you for that. You put your stuff away and you pulled out your gym clothes. You walked out of the gym and you got an eerie feeling like someone was watching you. You turned and saw the PE teacher. Mr. K. You always had an odd feeling about him because he would just randomly stare at you and do things. He would make you work harder than all of the others in class, but it seemed like he kind of had it out for you. You lined up with the other students ready for the warm-ups. Running, high knees, jumping jacks, ski jumps, and a bunch of other various things. You were in the middle of jogging, and the teacher was explaining what was going to happen. Today you had dodgeball, the one thing you hated with a burning passion. Everyone usually picked you last, and you would always be out first because everyone would target you. You hated how they thought of you as some type of weakling, as some type of person that can always be picked on. It made you mad. But for some reason, it wasn't like a rage type, like some people would have. It was more just like slight irritation. You always wondered why you never got as mad, sad, or any other strong emotions like everyone else. And when you did, it wasn't as bad. You were kind of, in a way, chill. Anyway, you lined up for dodgeball. You silently hoped that you would get out first so that you could just go lie in the corner and take a good nap that you needed. The whistle blew and you ran for one of the balls. Another kid beat you to it though. They grabbed it and then they instantly threw it at you. Something about the ball was odd though. It looked like it was coming faster than any ball you'd ever seen. It almost hit you until you quickly dodged it by jumping to the side. How could you go that fast? You've never moved that fast in your entire life. The ball you would have assumed just would bounce off the wall. It didn't. It broke the wall, leaving a hole with burning smoke coming out of it. Your eyes widened as you looked back at the kid who threw the ball. It was as if their face were glitching between a normal kid and something you had never seen before. Their skin looked like it was turning paler. They slowly grew in size and the jacket they had been wearing turned into leathery wings. Standing in front of you looked like a crazy bat lady who had nails for teeth. Your eyes grew in size. Your eyes grew and you looked around. No one else had noticed. She started walking towards you slowly, menacingly. You started backing away. You were backed away into a wall when suddenly something came out from her stomach. A blade? You looked, and as soon as she fell, she dropped and turned into gold dust. You saw a girl. She looked a bit taller than you. She had golden, honey-colored hair, tan skin, and stormy gray eyes. She smiled at you. That was a close one. Come on. You looked at her dumbfounded. She just stabbed a kid. Bat? Thing? You didn't think anything of it, but quickly followed her. She told you to go to the locker room and get all of your things, which you complied. After, you both ran out of the school. For some reason, she was able to persuade the teacher. She was able to persuade the teacher. She told the teacher it was time, and he nodded. He called in for a sub, and you all ran out to a car. It was his car. You all got in, and you looked at the girl with wide eyes. What happened? What was that? Who are you? Why do you have a knife blade thingy? And what is going on? Question after question you asked. She smiled lightly. She smiled softly. Hey, calm down. It's okay. You're safe now. We're on our way to camp. You looked at her like she was crazy. Camp? What camp? Am I crazy? Am I going crazy? Am I going to a psych ward camp thingy? She laughed. No, silly. We're going to Camp Half-Blood. Half-Blood. Half meaning what? I'm just a nobody who's always sleepy all the time. If you count that. She looked forward. How's everything? How close are we, Geo? Geo? Mr. K's form slowly changed. He grew a little bit shorter and his skin turned to a chocolate brown color. His eyes were a bright blue and his hair was black with green edges. Little horns were on the side of his head and he was wearing a jean jacket with a bunch of little pins about eco-friendly things. He smiled. We're doing good. We're almost to camp. Though I don't know how long we can make it without any other monsters reforming or Mrs. Dodds. Mrs. Dodds? Reforming? What the heck? Annabeth sighed. I don't want to tell you this, but I have to. It could possibly summon another monster. Monster? What? She slowly started to explain. Okay. Listener. You are not fully human. not fully human. You were always tired. You were sleepy. You never really did anything aside from sleep and probably art. You loved art. You adored it with a burning passion. All of your art somehow came out dreamlike, though, all the time. You tried to explain to her that you were, in fact, a nobody, but she just laughed. You aren't a nobody. You saw Mrs. Dodds, right? Mrs. Dodds? Are you talking about that bat lady with nail teeth and leathery wings? Annabeth nodded. That was Mrs. Dodds. She's a fairy, one of Hades' fairies. She's controlled by him. Though, the question is, why would Hades be after you? Your eyes widened even more. Hades? Like Greek mythology? Hades? You asked her. She nodded in response. You see, all of the Greek mythology myths and everything, they're actually real. Mortals can't tell. Mortals don't know. Mortals can't see what's under the veil. What's under the mist. Mist? Veil? You slowly got lightheaded. This is all too much information coming towards you. And what your mind usually did was shut down. You felt yourself drifting off. Slowly but surely. Annabeth kept rambling on about different things like the mist, not having very much time until a solstice, and other various things. You passed out. A few hours later, you woke up to a taste of brownies. It was some brownies that your mom used to make you all the time before she just suddenly changed. They were your favorite. You slowly open your eyes and you're met with a black-haired guy. He had black hair, sea green eyes, tan skin, and he was a little bit taller than you. You slowly try to sit up, but he stopped you. No, don't move. As soon as he touched you, your wrist lit up. And so did his. A mark showed up on yours. You looked down. Tridents? They were glowing, as if they were luminescent. You looked at his. They were swirls? You looked up. He looked up and you saw the faint glow of a green light. You looked up as well and saw a holographic branch with a white type of liquid dripping from it. Well, that solves that problem, he stated. Problem? You looked over at him. You've been claimed by your godly parent. You're a child of Hypnos, the god of sleep. You looked dumbfounded. God of sleep? Is that why you're always so sleepy? You looked confused. He chuckled. You're probably so confused right now. Anyways, Annabeth here can explain better than I can. I'm still relatively new. I haven't even had my first bead yet. You looked over at the girl. It was the same one from before that had been rambling on about a mist type thing. She smiled. Glad to see you awake. You looked confused. What happened? What were these marks on your wrists? You bombarded her with questions. Each she smiled and answered. answered with a calm voice. You asked about the mist part first. Oh, the mist is this type of thing that hinder mortals' view. It's kind of like this thing that lets their brain twist things into making sense to them. But for us, we see things for what they are. What they are. Okay, that answered that question. So you asked next about the godly part. The godly part. Okay. Hypnos is your godly parent. He was your father. He claimed you just now, and that was his signature symbol. We'll take you to the cabin later. You looked back at the guy. His wrists were still glowing as well. They were glowing a light purple. No, not purple. They were glowing a light blue. You looked back at Annabeth. You looked back at your wrists. The picture that had showed up were tridents. You looked up at Annabeth, as if waiting for her to explain. She looked at your guys' wrists and then she smiled. Oh, look at that! You guys are soulmates! Soulmates? Soulmates exist? And that's it for episode 1. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger, but yeah. You just found out you're a demigod. So stay tuned for the next video. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye. Happy New Year as well. Happy New Year. Bye.